Hi, my name is James Dowd, and today I will be recording Reflection 1 for Fostering Innovation and Leadership. And I basically like to start off about what we discussed in class this week. So, in class, we discussed two different forms of leadership: servant leadership and authentic leadership. Now, in the past, I've taken many different courses on leadership, and leadership seems to be one of the main focuses of classes at the University of Florida, where they train you to be a leader. But these two terms are two that I'd never heard of before. I didn't know what a servant leader was. I didn't know what authentic leader was. So it was really interesting learning what they were about this week. Basically, servant leadership, more of an entry-level position job, is where it's expressed at, in my opinion. It's the premise of putting others first, and by doing so, you're helping others to help yourself. You know, their success is your success, and it helps build you along the way and climb the ranks in a company or any sort of position. The other form of leadership that we learned about is authentic leadership, and I envision this as being more used by upper level management and higher executives or higher positions in a company. And basically, authentic leadership breaks down the barriers of normal leadership. It puts the leader and the smaller person on the ladder kind of on the same level and brings them together. I know in class we discussed, I can't remember the name of the company, but it was a company out in California, and we talked about how the CEO sat down with all of his lower level employees and help generate ideas and promotional offers and everything else that he's paying these people to do, but he's sitting down right with them and helping them along the way. I just found that to be a really, really cool notion. I mean, the fact that someone can sit down with someone below them and help push them along to succeed, because in the end it helps you succeed, and that's really a good way to run a company. My dad personally owns a small company in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I feel as though he demonstrates authentic leadership. I mean, I saw him start the company from when I was little, and just the way he works with his employees and puts them first and puts them first. It's more servant leadership, but he sits down with them and it's almost like they're equals when they're coming up with ideas. I mean, at the end of the day, he is the boss, but you know, I feel as though he's a real authentic leader, and this has led to the success in his company. Alright, so secondly, I'd like to talk about three values I hold close to me, and those three values are responsibility, honesty, and humility. So I find responsibility to be a big one because you have to be responsible for your actions. You know, we all make mistakes, and in making mistakes, we're able to learn from them, and taking responsibility for your bad actions helps you to grow as a person and as a leader. And on the same page with that, honesty. You got to be honest with yourself and know when you need to take responsibility, and when you're making bad choices and when you're making right choices. Be honest with yourself, be honest with others, and it will really help you get farther in life than anything else. And finally, I think humility is a really good value. We actually talked a lot about this in class, but I feel as though really humbling yourself is a big key in being a good leader. If you think you're bigger and better than everyone else, then you're not really going to get too far. No one's going to want to work for you. No one's going to want to work with you. And it's really just going to take away from what you can do. But if you're able to humble yourself and, you know, see people as human beings and work with them and, you know, have them work with you, you can really accomplish some great things. And finally, for my reflection here, I'd like to talk about the readings. Chapter 6 from Originals. So to start, I found the chapter to be a little bit confusing and a little bit wordy, but nevertheless, I found it to be pretty interesting. Basically, it talked about stealing bases in baseball, and specifically in Major League Baseball. And it broke it down to, it focused around people that stole the most bases, and specifically who stole home plate the most. It talked about how stealing second ran its own risks for getting thrown out or injury and could negatively impact the team. Stealing third provided even greater risk, and stealing home plate provided the most risk by far. And they did a study about it, and it was really interesting because they didn't just focus on how fast the person was or how that really played a factor into it, but it talked about family life and how people with bigger families and people that are born later than their siblings actually stole more bases and stole home plate more than any other people in the major leagues. There were players that weren't as fast as others that stole home plate more. Everything. I just found this interesting. I like to relate it to growing up. If you have older siblings, you get to learn from their mistakes and learn about what they did right, and it can really help benefit you in your life, so you can make bigger, bolder decisions, take more risks, and in turn, you'll succeed sometimes, and those risks can really pay off. Well, that's my reflection, so thanks for listening. This is James Dowd for Fostering Innovation and Leadership. Thank you. Have a good day.